The first story belongs to Catherine, Nick's mother. She opens the film in voiceover. When Nick was born, he was perfect. She never imagined anything could take him away. Now she is somewhere distant from her own life. Her husband Dale manages everything, driving the younger son Brady to school, hosting family dinners, fielding her calls during the workday. At the family barbecue with relatives, Catherine sits quietly through the entire event without smiling once. She corrects Brady's sports form and compares him to Nick without realizing she is doing it. Dale tells her she has to pull herself together, that they are a family, that she cannot keep going like this. She tells him they were a family. He does not know what to say to that. The second story belongs to Walter, a literature professor who is having his own quiet collapse. He teaches a class about how character is shaped by environment, how the smallest disturbance alters the pattern of the whole. After class, a student named Sherry explains she works at a television station and asks for deadline flexibility. Walter gives it to her. At home, his wife Abby, who runs a small gallery, asks why he stopped writing. He says he is more into teaching now. They argue about money. He watches the evening news, and Sherry is giving the weather forecast, and he watches her with an interest that is more than professional. He is late for dinner. He does not want sex. He grades papers in front of the television. The marriage is dying in the particular way marriages die when two people are too polite and too exhausted to speak directly. The third story belongs to Jordi, who is in a detention facility at the start of the film. A counselor tells him he is getting out and should take this chance to start fresh. Jordi was jailed for stealing a car with a friend and crashing it. His father Carl picks him up and their relationship is immediately hostile. Carl warns him not to screw up again, mentions that Nick's mother somehow knew Jordi was coming back, and tells him that his new wife Elise is at home. Jordi says he does not like Elise without having met her. Carl says to watch his mouth. At the house, Elise tries to be warm. She cleans windows, talks about Carly who used to help around the house before she went to university. Jordi tells her Carly is not her daughter and he is not her son. He is making that very clear. Carl gives him 1 week to find a job or he is out. The fourth story belongs to Dennis, Walter's younger brother, who has not left his apartment in 2 years. He is partly autistic and the accident set him back catastrophically. He was in the car with Walter that night. Walter visits him regularly, brings his mail, checks his pills, argues with him about going outside. There is a letter from a woman named Sylvie who just got out of jail and wants to meet up. Walter thinks this is exactly what Dennis needs. Dennis grabs the letter back and hits Walter. Walter apologizes. He knows he cannot push. Walter's marriage is held together by habit and politeness and nothing else. Abby runs a gallery that sold only 3 paintings in a month. Walter's teaching salary is covering the gap. He tells her the book he abandoned was junk. She says she used to be his student and she trusted his judgment, implying she still thinks the book had something. He says she knows nothing about it. She says fine. Walter goes to counseling. The counselor asks him to describe the accident as if it were happening to someone else, a short story about a man. Walter talks about the man who drove drunk that night. He was usually drunk after work, he says. He went to a bar near the college where the other faculty drank. He felt like a failure. His brother was at a therapy group that night. Normally, his brother took the bus, but there was a transit strike and he was expecting a ride. Walter had forgotten. When he realized how late he was, he rushed. He was drunk. He drove too fast. The accident killed a 16-year-old. Then Walter starts to slip into first person. He went to the security guard. Dennis was screaming. He was drunk and trying to get him into the car. The counselor shows him a newspaper article about the accident. The boy was a basketball all-star named Nick Raker. The name finally named out loud. Walter says he does not think he can continue these sessions. The counselor, it turns out, is Carl, Jordi's father. Carl does not know who Walter is. Walter does not know that his counselor is the father of the boy who stole the car in the accident that killed Nick Riker. The city is small that way. The accident created the 4 stories simultaneously. Catherine lost her son. Walter has never recovered from knowing what he did. Dennis has not left the apartment since and has possibly never fully understood what he saw. And Jordi, who was in the car that crashed, the one who stole it, carries a different guilt. His friend Melissa tells him at the park that she saw Nick's mother at the store, that she seemed to know when Jordi was coming back, that he should talk to her. Jordi says he is probably the last person she wants to hear from. Elise walks in on Jordi at a bad moment. He storms out. He sits alone in a park. He runs into Melissa and they catch up. She invites him to a party that weekend. Back at the house, things between Jordi and Elise shift into something else. She finds him in his room, apologizes for earlier, offers to do his laundry. He tells her to stop trying to be his mother. She leaves the laundry and goes. Later, she finds him in the hallway, and the silence between them thickens into something neither of them seems able to stop. They sleep together. Afterward, he hides in the bathroom, and she puts on a robe and goes to bed with Carl when he comes home. They establish a kind of parallel domestic arrangement that Jordi increasingly fills, helping around the house, being present in the way Carl is not. Walter sleeps with Sherry. Afterward, they smoke a joint and she asks about his brother. Walter wants her to meet Dennis. When he takes her to the apartment, Dennis panics at the sight of a stranger, and the meeting collapses. Sherry feels used and begins to distance herself. Walter goes home and Abby is packed. She has had enough. She is going to her sister's. Walter is alone in the house, alone with the papers to grade and the television and the weight he has been carrying for 2 years. Dennis memorizes weather data compulsively. Dates and temperatures going back decades, recited when he is stressed. He does it now when Walter pushes him too hard. Sylvie calls and Dennis answers and panics and hangs up. Walter calls him back and tells him to sleep on it. The next morning, Walter brings Dennis clothes for a date and some cologne and tells him girls like guys who smell good. Dennis asks if that is why Abby married him. Walter says he does not think so. They try to get Dennis out the front door. He makes it to the threshold and cannot go further. He is sorry. Walter takes Sherry to meet him and it goes badly. Jordi gets a job at a pizza place. The manager finds out about the record and lets him have the job anyway, warning him this is the real world and he will not tolerate excuses. Jordi is relieved. Then Melissa visits him at work during a shift and the manager scolds him. After work, Melissa drives him home and they talk in the car and lean toward each other, and Elise is watching from the window. She intervenes. Melissa leaves. Elise grows more controlling. Walter arranges a proper meeting between Dennis and Sylvie. They meet at a coffee shop or somewhere public. Dennis panics at first and Walter coaches him from nearby. Then Walter gives them space. Dennis talks to Sylvie. Something in him slowly relaxes. He lets her in. Walter watches from a distance and then leaves them to it. Later, when Walter goes to find Sherry again, she has moved on. He understands. He walks away. Catherine wanders the streets and mistakes other people's sons for Nick. She calls Dale at work and tells him to tell Nicky she wants to take him to the park. Dale says enough. She lies down. These are the only moments the film shows us of what grief is doing to her from the inside. Jordi eventually calls Catherine. He apologizes for Nick's death. They meet at the beach. She does not blame him for the accident the way he expected. She knows who was drunk. She knows who was driving. Walter's name is in the space between their sentences. Catherine's husband tells her it is time to move forward. She takes Brady and leaves with him. Walter goes to find Catherine and begs for forgiveness. She refuses. She nearly drives into him before stopping the car. She cannot forgive him yet, or possibly ever. The film ends on 2 separate images held without comment. Walter is alone at a table inside the pizza restaurant where Jordi used to work, completely isolated. Dennis is somewhere outside for the first time in 2 years, across a table from Sylvie talking, and that is how the story ends. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and drop a like and a comment to keep me going. Thanks.